she passed away in 2008. So I was a, little girl. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But no,
Wait a
that
minute,
was
your mom passed the year you started on television?
yes, the same year.
No way.
The exact same year. As soon as it aired, because I filmed it the year before that.
Yeah.
But by the time it aired to TV, she passed away right before the reunion was aired.
Wow.
Yeah. My grandmother passed before I did the second show, before I filmed the second show.
Wow.
And when I got back to Atlanta, I stayed in Atlanta at one point. When I got back to Atlanta, my great-grandma had passed from me filming the second show. So it was 2008 was a crazy year for me.
Yes.
I didn't have a lot of support within the family because every generation was lost, so everybody was grieving in different ways. So I had to deal with that alone by myself. The reason why my mom passed was behind HIV. You know what I mean? So I didn't have that level of another language barrier within my family to even talk about that as well. So it was just a lot of just me by myself. Yeah. And God was right there to remind me that everything would be, at that time it was just like the language of everything was going to be okay. Yeah. And then of course throughout the years I continued to develop more relationship with him along the journey.
No, that's powerful. What is it to be an adult orphan?
Oh.
When you talk about being by yourself as a child, that's one thing. But in your 20s, to go through it, what is that process?
Back then, there was no platforms like this. There wasn't even a lot of YouTube to pull up and try to relate to somebody about it.
Right.
There was not even a go to a therapist and talk. It wasn't highlighted like that back then, like it is now. So for me, being by myself, I saw that with her too. Because she was raised in a family where she had lost her mom at age 15.
Wow.
So I never got to meet my grandmother.
Right.
So I saw my mom kind of do it. Yes. And I just saw her continue to just go. I also seen her every day deal and live with this disease.
Yeah.
Seeing my brothers pass one by one. Like I seen all of that. And the only thing I knew, didn't have all of the language. Only thing I knew was to just keep going. Mm. You got to keep going. You could give up if you want.
Right.
But you just got to keep going. Yeah. So she was my prime example of that.
After COVID-19, many therapists and psychologists said loneliness can be a mental health issue. Mm-hmm. Is that the highest form of punishment in jail is solitary confinement?
Mm. I look at it,
yes.
It's good and bad.
Okay.
Because I really find my solitude, like my friends would tell you, like, I am Mrs. Solitude. I would get away and cut off everybody. And maybe it's just a coping mechanism from how I had to be, how I was raised.
Right.
But sometimes I do have to be in solitude. But sometimes too much can be a lot. It may not be great as well.
Yeah.
But I recharge in solitude. Like, I would cut off my phone. My people already know, like, sometimes don't even call. If you call me, you can call me, but I'm not going to pick up the phone. I'm not going to return your call. If I am just not in the mood at this moment, I have to, like, recharge myself. You know what I mean? So
I was amazed and inspired. I saw an interview with you on the impact of HIV in your family.
Yeah.
And how you were comfortable discussing an uncomfortable issue. And the reason why it's amazing is such a taboo around HIV and AIDS within the Black community.
Yeah.
When it was first introduced around 1984, it was assumed as a white gay disease.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore.
Okay.
And so they had a whole program on needle exchanges.
Wow.
Because it was associated with heroin and people with dirty needles. I'll never forget in high school when they announced Arthur Ashe.
Yeah.
Like, not the Olympic champion.
Yeah. And for you, that was a big thing. For me, I just kind of read about him.
Right.
But you was like in the midst of,
What you saying?
I ain't saying nothing about time. I'm just saying I had to read about Arthur.
Yes,
and you
too.
Knew him.
I didn't say I knew him. I never said I knew him.
Not knew him like that, but you had,
Don't do that.
Yeah. So
we're
going to keep it moving, though.
Yeah, I'm
stuck. We're in a good space.
We just left there. We just left the good space.
It's dope that you got to witness that impact of awareness at that moment.
Yeah.
Because he was fresh out. You got the story. Same thing when I learned about Michael Johnson. Not Michael Johnson.
Yes, Magic.
Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Lord,
No, it's okay.
But that's me. Y'all get ready because that's how I do.
No, you're doing good.
But yeah, so Magic Johnson too. So it's the...
How many people in your family were impacted by HIV?
Everybody was impacted. Everybody, because they looked at things differently. Some people looked at things differently. People were impacted positively and negatively. You know, I remember me and my brothers went over to my grandmother's house, which is my dad's side of the family. And I used to have to wash toilets behind them, you know. Ooh. So behind my brothers, yeah. And after my mom learned about that, she didn't have my brothers go over there again. But the impact of just extra stigma, how people view just anybody, like it's so many different type of impacts. It ain't just one way.
Right.
For me, it impacted me in many different ways. But for my family, it impacted. I had an uncle who passed away from HIV complications as well. My dad's brother. We didn't learn that till way after the fact.
Yeah.
But
how has that knowledge and your walk with God impacted your dating life?
Oh, you just went there. Okay. So I waited. We're just gonna be real here, okay?
Yeah,
I could be real. Here. So I waited until my senior year in college to start doing baby making. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time because I always kept behind my head like somebody could do you like how they did your mama.
Yeah.
You know, so for those who don't know, like my mom, after her and my dad broke up, I was like a year and a half. They broke up. They went their separate ways. My dad went on in his life. She started dating somebody new. That was the guy who she got pregnant from. He was the one who gave it to her. Mm. And back then, again, like you said, it was a gay white man's disease.
Yeah.
So he just assumed after he found out that they had it, he just said, yeah, but I didn't think I could give it to you. You know, Marcus was going to kill him.
Is he still living?
He's not living, no.
Wow.
He passed away after my first brother passed away. And I only know that through, you know, conversations with my uncle and my mom. But, yeah. Yeah. But where we was going, because sometimes I get sidetracked.
We talking about how it's impacted your dating life.
Yeah. So seeing that, because I saw that he just was careless. He just thought nothing ain't going to happen.
Right.
I always, maybe it was a fear and a little bit, I ain't gonna say still today, but I did have a fear of that. A fear that having somebody that I trust, because she wasn't out. Everybody think HIV is like you got to be out and about all over the place. You got to be sticking with everybody. Right. Somebody new every day. It could be one person that you love.
Yeah.
And you trust that person. Yes. And you would never think in a million years that person has a status within their blood that can give you something. So you just don't know, you know? So it guarded me for a while. Like, I was just nervous. Like, I'm like, what if, you know, what if this person lies? But now there's testing now. Right. Couples should get tested if you out there, you know. So yeah, it has impacted in that way. I'm single today, not because of that, but, you know, it's just timing. But I still keep that in the back of my head.
Yeah.
You know?
Atlanta and Houston have the highest and largest HIV cases.
Yeah.
In America, both of which have an influx of Black people, and both of which have a high down low community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know.
But yes, we know.
Everybody know that. You know what I mean? It's not nothing secret, you know, and it's different number ones of HIV. So you have new infections. So South Florida, Myammee is the number one new infections.
Yes.
But living with HIV, yes. Atlanta, Louisiana.
Yes.
Just the southern states, crazy.
Yes.
You know, so.
I am amazed on the casualty that America has on STDs.
Man.
Yeah, is right before the residency of Usher in Vegas. He had to settle with 4 women about STDs, and then goes to Las Vegas. And then nothing ever comes of it. So is there a different stigma in your perception for men with it than it is for women?
With STDs or HIV?
Both.
Well, HIV will be the most harshest stigma you would get.
But is it still now with all of the advanced technology, people can now live with it?
Yeah,
people
you can live with it, but you can live with it.
Yes.
You can. You can live a long life.
Yes.
But the stigma around people still saying they have it
Yes.
And coming out telling people, they tell a partner, they know they may not have that person anymore. If they tell the person like, hey, I'm HIV positive, but I won't be able to give it to you because I'm undetectable. Like, you still have to live with the reality of what you are living with. Right. So I'm in HIV advocacy work too, outside of just music and stuff, but we have to advocate and still bring awareness about prevention. Yeah, you can take this one pill every day to help prevent HIV. It's called PrEP. If you get sexually assaulted or something like that, you have 3 days to take this other medicine, which is called PEP, for 28 days long. And it's just so much around HIV, but again, I'm losing my train of thought. But HIV is the number one STD that people just don't want, despite you being able to live longer and healthier. You still have to deal with the mental I have that, is it ever going away? Jamal Bryant just passed away, right? So she was one of the earliest young ladies.
That's right.
I remember seeing her and I used to be like, dang, but my brothers didn't make it, but she did. She lived a long life, but she always brought up like, it's still a reality that I still got to deal with it. Yeah, I'm living here, but I still got to deal with it. That was her mission. Like, she always said that. So, yeah, you can live, but it's still a reality check.